Summer 1971. Leeds United have won the Fairs Cup. Jack Charlton, Big Jack of Leeds, Rio, Milan, Barcelona, the world, drives home to Ashington, another world.
This is most of the old part of Ashington here. They widen the road here, pinch off the gardens from that side to widen the road. But these streets are as I was when I was a laddie, exactly the same as this. The whole of the place is built on a type of the old part anyway, it's built on like a grid system where you need to count so many avenues down and so many streets across in order to find where you want to be. All the houses are the same, all the streets are the same. These are the short end ones. The long end ones start on here. And if you get an idea, if I stop at the next one, you can have a look up and you'll see the length of the street. See, look, right up there, way into the distance. Tremendous distance up there. Up the street this morning, the kids were phenomenal, you know. They stand and they look up at me and they shout, "Are you Bobby Charlton?" You know, and they're taking a mickey because they know I'm not Bobby Charlton. Everybody in the place knows I'm not Bobby Charlton. This is our street. Well, this is a street above our street. If you look at the lamppost, you can see as you go. You've got to count down now how many lampposts. From here, I think it's about 6. And then we get to Mrs. Furness's door, and that's where she had the dog with a crooked smile. That was the one that had a protruding bottom jaw and it had teeth. And it looked as if it had a permanent smile. It was a funny thing. Well, this is a house where we lived for a lot of years, most of our life anyway, 114. My father made the door, the joining was great, if you can see. It's not very wide the street, but it was great for kids to play football in. If you look at these doors, for instance, we played maybe the goals over there and the goals over here. If me and our kid were playing headers, for instance, like that would be the wall and this would be the wall here. See, about goalkeeper size for a small kid if you jump it. And the ball be thrown out, be headed ball out, be dives and saves and all sorts of things. This is also the street where we came back to after the World Cup in 1966, and they gave us a bit of a civic reception. And the whole street was crammed with millions of people, and kids on top of the roofs. They even painted over where they painted during the war. All the colours you can see up the top, that's from the war, but they repainted them as well. They put posters on the wall, probably the best picture I've ever had taken of myself anyway. Me and our kid all over the wall, bunting right across as far as you could see, and really went to town on it. And there was a great big old Rolls Royce stood just here. And we all climbed on top of the Rolls Royce, and my mother waved us off and we got in the back of the car and away went up to the town hall, met everybody. But you know, very nostalgic places for me because the games of football in this street could have been anything from 2 a say to 13, 14, 15, maybe, well, as many kids as wanted to play. Great place. Hello, Mr. Furness. It's Ruthie. Colin.
Hello, Jack. How's things?
All right.
They're looking well.
Oh, not too bad.
How's Pat and the band?
Champion, they're just doing a film for the Tyne Tees Television.
I've seen them at your mother's.
Oh, well, you're going to be live.
Never know.
Yes. Oh, you're keeping anyway. I'm being so ill.
Road.
You're all right, don't worry about it. It's got to be informal. I mean, you know, smile at the people.
Yes. Your old neighbour.
I was telling them about the dog that used to have for the lip that the broken jaw. Prince. Who lives here now?
Kennedy's.
Kennedy's. Is anybody in? No. That's the men in the car.
Well, I mean, Harriet, like.
Hello, Mr. Kennedy. Well, I've never been in since they altered the place and made it that way, you know. Ta-ra, Mr. Furness. Ta-ra, Ruthie. This is all completely changed, you know. This was the main door right into the living room. And we had a big, old-fashioned steel fireplace when we first came in. But now it's all completely changed. They've made a bathroom. I'm dying to see the bathroom. I haven't seen a bathroom in this place yet. Do you mind if we come in? Have a look where we used to live.
No, just come in, please.
Good, good. I've never seen one of these houses, you see, since they altered them and made it like this.
Well, come in.
This is the living room. I'm sorry we're messing you about like this, you know.
Oh, it doesn't bother me.
She's like my mother. As soon as we came in, she started tidying up and pushing things under the table and that.
Pushing the things under the board. Well,
The basic place hasn't changed a bit. You've got a cupboard there, that's about the only difference.
Yes.
And you're cooking here.
Yes,
You know,
we have to.
didn't have a cook or anything.
oh, no, you have the fireplace.
Well, my mother cooked on the fire for years here, you know.
Oh, yes.
She went, well, when you came in, the fireplace would be one of them, she had
No,
one with an
this
oven and
is-
everything, because it's took her donkey's years to get used to a gas and everything.
Yes,
She was much better when she had the coal fire.
no, quite possible.
We have upset these people, you know. I feel embarrassed over it, really. I mean, we're just walking here. It's terrible, that Frank. Disgraceful, that Frank. I used to go on a Saturday afternoon in the summer. And these fellas are lads that I've known since I was a laddie myself. And all I've ever been interested in is whippets and racing them. I have a lot of time for them, you know, because they're really men dedicated to the sport. They're all, what should I say, clued up to the eyes over it. They know all about it. They're real experts on it. Look at it, it's not even running. It's a funny dog, that red one, isn't it? Look at it. Starting to run now when the race is over.
I've won! I had the black dog with the white dog.
What's one? Black.
The black.
Two, what about you?
Too bad.
Tuppence, I mean.
No, you told me say you squeaks.
I was squits. You heard me, tuppence. I enjoyed it. I enjoy it now when I'm home. Maybe having a little bet between ourselves, because on a Sunday morning when I get a chance to go now, there's no betting. We don't have bookies on a Sunday morning. My brother's got two whippets himself. He's a dedicated whippet man. He's no family, him and his wife, and they treat the dog like a kid. Eggs and sherry, best steak, liver. And it's fed on all the best. It doesn't sleep outside, it's in the house. It's got its own box in the house, and it's looked after, and it's exercised every day. Tom, if he's working, his wife exercises it. Yeah.
Nibbles, boy. Yeah.
Which one do you think, then? That one's mine. Hey, he's grand. That's another winner I've got. 4 to 5. Where is he? They will keep notes on how each whippet performs on that particular day, because so that it gets its mark. In fact, they work like the jockey club works. They do a jockey club job, all on their own, because they love the sport. I picked the blue. We're going up there. Look at the old mill. Have you been here before? So Dad used to come when he was a little laddie. Isn't it big? Go on with John. Go on with John, you can go in there. This is the old mill, a place I used to come to quite a lot when I was a kid. A great place for kids. It's full of machinery in there. And used to be able to clamber up between the floors. I've sat on the top many times and been frightened to death. It frightens me even more now, looking up at it. I suppose the kids still come here in their great numbers, full of birds' nests, all these little holes on the side. Always get birds' eggs here. Well, from up here, you can actually see, I think, well, you could from the top anyway, about 3/4 of Northumberland. The one thing about Northumberland we were all very proud of in this area was the fact that the industry was always concentrated in about the southeast corner, which is down that way. And once you got above Ashington, there was nothing else. All there was maybe the odd coal mine, the old pit, but there was nothing. And it was all countryside and rivers and salmon fishing and trout fishing and And generally beautiful coastline and everything, beautiful. But over the last few years, I've seen it creeping further and further up north, all this industry and everything. I don't mind the industry creeping up this way, but it's the way they do it. I mean, for instance, they've just built a new power station at Camas, and you can see it. That stands out. You see that from Newcastle. Tremendous great thing. That's also on the coast. I remember a few years ago they put some pylons up at Newbigin. This was to time the ships between the different pylons. And when they built these at Newbigin, there was hell on because people said, what a monstrosity to stick them away there. They were going to pull the old mill down at one time, but they stopped them pulling it down because fishermen at sea and the ships at sea used it as a bit of a landmark. And they could see this thing for miles. Well, it doesn't matter anymore now because they could pull it down if they wanted. They've got something better they can see from miles away. In fact, they can see it from 100 miles out to sea. And that's this Alcan place here. We need the industry in the northeast, but I don't know if we need it that much. So instead of stopping at Ashington, all this industry, it's gone on now, and it's crept up as far as probably one of the most beautiful parts of the coastline, as I know as a laddie anyway, which was getting on towards Cresswell and Limebourne. And there was loads of sand dunes and we could slide down them. The sand was beautiful and white, a fabulous place for kids. The trouble really started with all this area when they started dumping the coal in the sea. The prevailing tides took it out, washed it and threw it back up on the beach again. Well, we can see what they've done to this beach. It goes from that point there, really, where it's really filthy, to that point up there. Fortunately, when we get past that point, the beaches are clean. They're beautiful, and we start coming really back to the part of Northumberland that I like. I always come and sit here when I'm up home, at least one morning of the time I'm here, because I've seen various birds here, particularly a lot of mallard. You get a lot of mallard and a lot of teal, and quite a few widgeon. My father says there's a pair of gooseanders on, but I don't know that they're gooseanders. I think they're another type of duck, but I'm not absolutely sure. I'll check up on it when I get home. My son's got a book on birds with all the ducks in and that, and we can soon find out exactly what they are. When we came past here yesterday, there was a big heron. It was just in the shallows at the side, and it jumped into the air and flew off as we arrived. Nice to see things like that.
10 pence.
That's
right.
5 pence. Excuse me. What's that? They are, lads. Get stuck into them. No, we'll fix up a club with it that have got their own field. And then just in case we can fix up the club to put on a bit of entertainment for the night anyway. The clubs in Ashington are really what the whole of the place revolves round. A man's family revolves around the man of the family, but the man revolves around the club he's a member of. My father's a member of various clubs.
It doesn't matter where Jack goes in the clubs up here, he's really respected, and I think what they like about him, they come and ask him questions about football and he answers it, and he often says to me, you know, fella, if I hadn't been a footballer, I'd probably been in the pit the same as he.
Each club has tried to outdo each other over the years. If one's had a big singing end, the other one's had a huge singing end. If one's had a good best end, the other one's had a fabulous best end. And it's all to drink beer.
79, 79, base 11, Leinster, number 4, A2, line 80, 37, 37, 5 and 7, 57, 8 and 6, 86, 1 and 6, 16, 8 and 9, 8 and 9.
2 and good. 2 and good, but he can't. 2 and good, can't. Miles away.
People have said to me, you know, how do you get to your house when we arrive in Ashington? And I've said, well, as you go across the railway line, if you stop and ask where to see Charlton is, they'll tell you. And they've said, don't be daft, you know, what's your address? I said, no, I'm telling you, you try it and you'll see it works. Sure enough, they can ask anybody where does Sissy Charlton live, and they'll tell her. But 99% of the people in Ashington, and I mean literally 99% of the people, know me mother. And she's Sis to everybody.
Where's the dinner?
Have you seen the time?
Look at here.
Well, this dinner's spoiling. Come on, and big and get Calvin.
I'll cook the meat, Dilly.
Come on then, get cracking.
I'll cook the meat.
Oh,
It's on the table then.
Have you sharpened this thing?
Yes.
Well, you've either done the meat too much or you haven't sharpened the knife, one of the two, because it's hacking it. Eh?
Usually grumble when it's stuck, so I went to town on it.
Half the bugger through the middle.
Bloody hell, flames, man.
Half it through the middle. And your mother named it sugar meat anyway.
I can't remember my mother ever really having time over all the Sunday lunchtime, or any family that I've ever ate with in the northeast, had time to sit down with you and eat the Sunday lunch with you. They always seem to have it standing up in the kitchen while they're serving everybody else. It's sort of the duty.
do it on a step.
We're gonna die of hunger before we get started.
And then it's the duty of the man to sort of sit down in a chair, have a cup of tea, and either fall asleep or go to bed for a couple of hours. This is something my father's done for the last 25, 30 years. The girls nowadays don't seem to be taught anything by their mothers anymore. Debbie's 9. She'll be brought up fairly strictly. I don't mean strictly. I'm not a tyrant or anything like that, but she will learn to cook. She does her share of the housework now. I feel, you know, if you're going to give a daughter to somebody in marriage, you should prepare her for it. It's all right, this women's liberation say that they can all go their own way and they can all do jobs and have careers, but they can't all do this. There'll be no population left. I married a Leeds girl, you know, but her mother had seen that she was brought up the right way. Debbie will be brought up this way. I won't allow her to go out and spend half the night out knocking around town. I want to know where she is until she's of an age where I can say, well, now you've reached this age, you know, you can go and sort out your own life. I've never heard of a dog swimming underwater before, man.
Well, you ask your mother.
Well, the Chuck was the cleverest. I fetched him to the shop one day and I saw this gun dog, you know, carrying an egg. And I says, I want to have 4 Chuck and that. And I got him to the shop and I put an egg in his mouth. And he whacked all the way in with the egg in his mouth, never brought it yet. And he was a whippet cross, you know, a hard mouth.
Did you see when we were up this morning, that pond? Did you see them 2 Canadas?
Oh, they were.
There wasn't the Canada.
There was 2 Canadas. I told you, we stopped, well, you were in the front car, but when we got in the back one, we stopped.
I've been travelling that road for years, and
there was 2 Canada geese on the pond, I'm telling you.
There were shell-doos.
There weren't. There were Canadas. There was.
No,
they would just say the pond, but I didn't have
there
binoculars.
would be goose hunters, Jack. They've been there for years,
The
man.
Canadas, I've seen more Canadas and you had good dinners. I'm telling you, there were 2 Canadas this morning. No. Because we stopped in the car. When you went on, we stopped and we got out and we walked to the fence and we had a look at us because I thought, I've never seen Canadas on this pond, particular pond. You know where it comes over the sand dunes and it dips down over the road?
Well, the big
white-fronted things with a black head, and they were sat about 100 yards in, and I could see
like
as clear as I'm telling you.
Something like a mallard drake.
They weren't. They weren't a bit like a mallard drake. They were big, and there weren't no greens or any colour. Browns and whites with a black head, and they were Canadas. I wish that my mother had made me buy, say, a cornet or a tuba even, and learned to play it as a kid. Or that my father had been musically inclined and been a member of, say, the Woodhorn Miners Band, or the Ashington Band, or the North Eaton Colliery Band, or any band, and I'd have been able to take me with him. I even joined the Boys Brigade because they had the bugles. But when I joined, they gave me a drum, so I left. If someone said to me, what is it about Ashington that you like? And I had to explain to them. If I said, the peace of Ashington. Because we talk about country places where the world passes it by and nothing ever changes. I would say this in Ashington more than anywhere else I've ever known, you know. Of all the changes that have happened in the northeast, nothing has ever changed Ashington. I'm allowed to relax in Ashington like I'm not allowed to relax anywhere else. I'm not a stranger to anybody in Ashington, even though I've been away from home since I was 15. It was a film that, about handicaps that upset my mother in the first place. They gave everybody the impression that they were all beer-drinking, flat-capped, white silk scarf, kept pigeons, racing men in the northeast. And I said, well, what about my father? You know, where does he become any different to any handicapped fella you've ever met in your life? I said, he still wears his silk scarf when he goes out, or sometimes it's a woolen, and he still crosses it under his arms. He wears his flat cap. He's always had pigeons.
Dick.
In fact, everything that you ever read in the handicap series, you can see a little bit of my father in it all. His pigeons have been the one pleasure of his life. He doesn't race them. They're no good. Occasionally, when I was a laddie during the war, we used to eat them.
There you are.
But I'm sure that we only ate the ones that died. He would never have killed one for to eat. My father's a great builder. You should see some of the huts he puts up on his allotment. You know, they've got to be seen to be believed.
He'll cry, my father. I've never seen a cry that shape before in my life. Cried away, jacket. I just put two lengths of wood together to correspond. That's the way they gan. The nail guns in. And I'm not a fella that clouds very much with a ruler. I do nearly all by eye.
You're never repairing these trees. Hey?
I'm making some new nest boxes.
How many pigeons you got?
17.
That's a nice little blue hen you got there.
Happens to be a cut, that one.
No, that little blue
Oh.
hen. Oh, the grand. I don't know how you do this building.
Well, it's easy. Just put two words together, get them the same length.
I bet you haven't got one screw in the whole of this place.
No, they're all 6-inch nails, Jack.
I'm surprised.
I'm not pleased.
Well, why do you not keep the hens and get rid of the pigeons for?
Oh, I like the pigeons. I've had them all my life, man. I wouldn't deal with them. I shouldn't deal with horses as them.
Yeah, that. Who's is them?
It's the friends next door. They're fantails and tumbler pigeons and they're a fancy breed.
But I like the northeast, you know, and I enjoy being there. I'm only ever there for maybe 2 or 3 days at a time. But if I go for a week or a fortnight, the time passes so quickly. I must be enjoying myself for it to go as quick as that. And then I see the lads in the club that work in the pit and their life revolves around the club, and I think, would this do for me, you know? And I say, no, you know, I couldn't just go to the pit and come back and go to the club and have a whippet, and I would want something more because I've been used to something more. And then I offer my brother, my younger brother, a job in Leeds, and I say, would you uproot your house and get rid of your whippets, and I'll give you a good opportunity to work for me, and I'll pay you a good wage, and I'll put you into a business which will virtually be yours. And he turns me down and says, I'm happy where I am. And I think, well, you know, it must be degrees, by degrees, what you want, what you require out of life. Obviously, the people in the northeast are the happiest characters I've ever known. And to get them to move is like pulling teeth. I don't know anybody who has grown up and got past the age of adolescence who wants to leave the northeast. I just don't know anybody. And what I mean by that is, unless you leave at 15, if you stay till you're 19, I don't think you've any chance of ever getting away from the hole that it's got on you.